Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers, and welcome to the very first episode of Hidden Tikis. Tiki here, and I'm here to take you through all the obscure, forgotten, and underrated aspects of Disney parks and film. Now, the first subject I wanted to start out with was I really wanted to talk about the hidden away areas of Disneyland Park. Of course, every Disney park has very specific tucked away areas. I mean, that's what makes Disney Disney, right? I mean, that's what separates it from other theme parks. Other theme parks are just collections of rides and collections of food stalls and things like that. But Disneyland and most other Disney parks, to use a metaphor made famous by Willie Crump, Disneyland is like the world's greatest salad. Most other salads just have lettuce, tomato, and croutons, but Disneyland has oregano and spices and all kinds of different vegetables and crazy stuff to explore, and it's just a sensory overload. It's just a bunch of different flavors, a bunch of different experiences, and that's what sets Disneyland apart. Now, one thing that I want to mention before we get to this countdown is I have actually not been to Disneyland Park since 2009. And quite a lot has changed about it since then, and of course I can't really talk too much about the changes personally, because I haven't witnessed them. But yeah, there's a few things that I kind of wanted to get into that I really don't think is to the park's benefit that they're doing right now. So I'll get all into that in the countdown. So with that in mind, here are the top 5 hidden secrets of Disneyland. Hidden, tucked away, obscure areas of Disneyland. Let's get to it, shall we? Number 5, the Porch, Main Street, USA. I think when it comes to Disneyland and tucked away hidden areas, Main Street is really the creme de la creme when it comes to that kind of stuff. We've got the Main Street Cinema, we've got the firehouse, we've got the train station, all these different little tucked away areas that in the grand scheme of things make up probably, in all honesty, my favorite land in all of Disneyland. It's definitely not the most exciting land. It's not the one with the most e-tickets or things to do or, rides to go on. But to me, I think that Main Street USA really encapsulates just those hidden details and secret treasures that makes Disneyland such a special park to begin with. And the Porch is a great example of this. The Porch is located on the right side of Main Street between the China Closet and the Silhouette Studio, and it was once the former home of the infamous Wizard of Bras shop. What was once the spot of a real-for-real lingerie store inside the happiest place on earth now exists as merely a set of 2 innocent-looking chairs and a bench. This is the ultimate people-watching spot, and any longtime visitor or annual pass holder can attest to it. It's just the ultimate spot to just kick back, kick up your feet, wiggle your toes around a little, and just people watch. Just observe and watch everyone go to the happiest place on earth and plan their trip and have a great time. And really, the Porch is so simple in its execution that that's what makes it such a great spot. It is literally 2 chairs and a bench. That's all it is. It's the simplest thing in the world. But just the fact that it's there in the first place, just the fact that it exists and it's there to give people that want to just kick back and relax a spot to go to. I mean, like I said, those are the little touches that make Disneyland what it is, and it's why the Porch is number 5 on my list. Number 4, Big Thunder Trail. Big Thunder Trail is one of the most isolated and out-of-the-way spots in the entire Disneyland park. It's located in the back of Big Thunder Mountain, in between Frontierland and Fantasyland. The reason I love this particular spot so much is that essentially it's a collection of remnants of the past. There's the former tunnel into Nature's Wonderland, the broken down mine train, and personally one of my favorite hidden effects in the entire park called the Phantom Fish. Now, this is really one of the most obscure effects in the entire park, and it's located right by the aforementioned tunnel, right across from where the exit of Big Thunder Mountain is. And Across from the tunnel is this pond, this small pond. In the pond, every so often, you can see little jumps of water, just kind of little ripples of water, just little ripples just popping up. This is actually the remnants of bear country from Nature's Wonderland, and the remnants of the segments where the bears used to catch the fish. And what it is, all it is essentially a wire that pokes out of the water and just gives the effect of a fish poking its head above the surface of the water. Like I said, this is called a phantom fish, and it's one of the most tucked away and hidden secrets of the entire park, so look for that the next time you're there. Another more ominous thing that makes this spot so special is that it was a spot that Walt Disney occupied quite a bit before he died. More specifically, the Mark Twain dock. There's a lot of famous pictures of Walt Disney looking out over the rivers of America just a few months before he died. And that's one of the interesting things about being in Disneyland Park, is that you kind of feel Walt's presence all around you. And you see these famous pictures of where he was and the stories of what he liked to do. You know, of course, you have the famous apartment above the firehouse, things like that. And you can really feel his presence. But the Mark Twain dock, which is basically the start of the Big Thunder Trail, is really one of the more prominent places where you can feel just the, I don't know. I don't want to get into a paranormal sort of discussion here. Of course, there's been a lot of talk about Disneyland being a hotspot for paranormal activity, most notably Walt Disney's ghost. But that's neither here nor there. I used to be a lot into the paranormal stuff back when I was a teenager. Now, I'm just not sure. Fact of the matter is, though, looking out over the Mark Twain dock, you can kind of get a sense of what Walt Disney was thinking. Like, where he knew he had a definite end period to his life, and he wanted to preserve the legacy of his company and all he built up. It's a very somber sort of spot when you think about it, and it kind of gives me chills whenever I'm there, especially early in the morning. So, that's another reason why Big Thunder Trail just stands out so much. Now, I think it's important to note that there's a lot of prime real estate in the back near Big Thunder Trail. There's the Festival of Fools area and Big Thunder Ranch. For the longest time, there's been rumors of some sort of e-ticket coming into there. We were sure for the longest time that there was going to be a Lone Ranger e-ticket, up until that movie turned out to be an unmitigated disaster. So, it's just interesting to think about, because Big Thunder Trail is such an isolated, outdoorsy area that if you put a big e-ticket into there, and granted, I think Frontierland kind of needs a new e-ticket, so I'm totally not against putting a new e-ticket in there. But if you do put one in there, you've got to wonder if the quiet and preserved aspect of Big Thunder Trail is going to be lost. So, just a little food for thought there. Number 3, the Court of Angels in New Orleans Square. It's just a fountain and a staircase. I mean, literally, that's just all it is. It's just a fountain and a staircase that happens to go up to Club 33, by the way. Yeah. That's what makes it so brilliant. Much like how the Porch on Main Street is just 2 chairs and a bench, this is just a fountain and a staircase. It's located right in the very back of New Orleans Square, kind of by where the silhouette artists usually are. And by the way, what is up with the fact that a lot of the really good, out-of-the-way spots in Disneyland are all next to silhouette places? It's a conspiracy, I tell you. It's a silhouette conspiracy. The Court of Angels was designed by famous Imagineering legend Herb Ryman, and was originally called Le Grand Courtyard. I mean, I cannot get over the effectiveness of this tiny fountain. You know, that's what makes great cities, I feel, is the use of fountains and benches, and I kind of feel like Disneyland's the same way. This area just does so much with so little. And I know I'm repeating myself, but seriously, just one of those days, just go back there and just lean on the staircase and just take it all in, man. Just just take in the architecture, take in the kinetic energy of listening to the fountain just drizzle and drip and the water flowing. There's something about flowing water that always relaxes me. And take in the music and the atmosphere and just soak it up. Soak it up, because the Court of Angels is really, throughout the decades, it's really been one of the great tucked away, hidden secret spots of Disneyland. Number 2, Snow White's Grotto. Snow White's Grotto is another very, very simple area of Disneyland that's really got a lot going for it. It's just a wishing well and a bench and a fountain and a waterfall. But it's got so much kinetic energy to it that it's just ridiculous. It's right off the castle. You get a great view of the castle moat. You get an awesome feeling of being just totally within the castle, but away from everything. And there's also music. The song I'm Wishing plays basically every 90 seconds or so. And it always starts with the sound of ringing bells, which I think is a neat touch. It just kind of just chimes into the fact that Snow White's about to start singing. The sculptures of the diorama, which is basically Snow White and the 7 dwarves situated against a waterfall, they were all sent from an anonymous sculpture in Italy in 1961. Of course, most people know the famous story about how Snow White was sculpted the exact same height as the dwarves, so she was placed on top of the waterfall to give a forced perspective that she was actually larger. Of course, forced perspective is probably one of the main tricks that the Imagineers employ in all of their Disney parks across the globe. And then on top of the wishing well and the Snow White figures and the waterfall, you've also got these really neat fountains that are in the shape of fish, and they come out of the water. They're on a little carousel thing, and they just spit water out of their mouths. I mean, it's just so cool to me. It's just so unbelievably cool to me that this little spot in Disneyland just exists, and it goes on all day long, the bells and the singing and the fountains, and it just brings such an energy to the park, and I just love it. It's just one of my favorite spots, hands down. Now, I mentioned at the top of the video that I think there's certain things that the Disney management is doing that's kind of taking away from the obscure and hidden and out-of-the-way feel that some of these spots have. And honestly, I think these big meet and greet areas are probably one of the main culprits behind this. Now, don't get me wrong, Disney characters are a major part of the experience of a Disney park. I totally get that. Having said that, I feel like the way that the park is kind of turning every last square inch of real estate into a potential meet and greet area, it's kind of taking away some of the charm and some of the just hidden qualities of Disneyland. I mean, imagine if you were just at Disneyland and you just sat down at one of your favorite hidden spots just to catch a breather, and a meet and greet suddenly started happening. I mean, how would you feel, huh?
This is the life, is it not? Just kicking back in my favorite spot, relaxing, people watching. Ooh, I like that shirt.
Hello, Daddy-O.
Oh, hey! What up, Hipster Donald?
Hipster Donald just noticed that you were just relaxing in your favorite spot without interacting with a character. Come on, don't you want a hug?
Nah, man, I'm just people watching right now. No need to character interact right now. Thanks, though. I appreciate your value.
What are you talking about? Disneyland isn't for relaxation. It's for characters and meet and greeting. Come on, Daddy-O. Give Hipster Donald a big hug right here. Come on. Come on, come on, come on.
No, Hipster Donald. I mean it. No, get away from me. That's a...
Give me a... Come on, give me a freaking hug.
No, Donald, I really mean it. Just get him. No hugs. No hugs. No hugs. And the number one out of the way spot in Disneyland Park is Coke Corner. Yeah! There's only one way to describe Coke Corner, and that is, it's just sheer Americana. It's just pure, bottled up, purified Americana. It's just as American of a spot as you're possibly going to get in America. It's just more American than apple pie and baseball. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Coke Corner holds a special place in my heart for one reason and one reason only, and that reason is Rod Miller. Unfortunately, this is something that just has to go to the Yesterland area of Disneyland's history, because sadly, Rod Miller is rightfully retired because he worked a long, hard, dedicated career being the resident ragtime piano player at Coke Corner. Rod, he is basically like the Jimi Hendrix of ragtime piano. I mean, that dude goes at it. He's got fingers like, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Sadly, Rod can no longer be seen, but there's a whole legacy of piano players that perform at Coke Corner. The thing that I think really makes Coke Corner special is the fact that it's just its own thing. There are so many unique and surprising things that can happen on Coke Corner. It's really fueled by the classic white Yamaha piano and the ragtime piano player that accompanies it. That's the real draw of Coke Corner. But there's so many other crazy things that can happen there. I mean, I've seen everything from the Dapper Dans just kind of joining in with the ragtime piano and putting on a spontaneous performance, to, all kinds of different song requests all day. I know at the end of the night, most nights, there's a special finale with, I believe, just a little bit of, I don't know. They might not do this anymore, but they did do it for a little while. There were like tiny fireworks that would go off or something like that. I never saw it personally. I just heard about it. Yeah, it's just a special place. Every so often, characters will come and interact with the piano player, put on little skits. I mean, just everything. Just, if you were to sit at Coke Corner all day, like, you would get a full day's worth of entertainment, and you never know what is going to happen there. That's why I love it so much. I feel like it's still one of the pure, prime, just anything can happen. It's a spot at Disneyland that's just gone untouched. It's still exactly the way it is. Brilliant but subtle use of forced perspective in the Main Street architecture. It just feels like America's back porch. That's what it feels like. If I were to sum up Coke Corner, it would be America's back porch. I mean, an afternoon on Coke Corner is just an afternoon of sheer delight, people watching, great live entertainment, just great atmosphere. It's just everything that you could possibly ask for in a great tucked away spot in Disneyland. The only thing that would make it better is if the god of ragtime piano, Rod Miller, was still there. But alas, it's still a very special place, and I think that if you visit Disneyland, you should have at least one meal at Coke Corner. They only serve hot dogs and Coke, but just get a hot dog, get a Coke, go when the ragtime piano player's there, sit back, stay for at least a half hour, and just soak it up, man. Just soak it up. I feel like Disneyland's a very special place specifically because of these out of the way places. And I kind of feel like I said, the meet and greets and the having to have every square inch of the park be profitable, it's kind of taking away from the magic. I'll admit that I haven't been to Disneyland Park since 2009, like I said, and I'm a little bit worried about going back. I mean, the thing that happened that I really don't approve of at all is the Plaza Inn. I mean, not the Plaza Inn, the Plaza Gardens. I'm sorry. The Plaza Gardens being turned into a giant character meet and greet. First of all, it's outside of Fantasyland, which just doesn't make sense geographically. More importantly than that, it's taking away a very quiet, out of the way area of Disneyland Park and replacing it with something that's just meant to turn a profit. I really feel like we as Disney fans need to come together and preserve these quiet, out of the way places because without them, Disneyland just would not be what it is. It just wouldn't be that special place that we all know and love it as. I feel like in the early 2000s, there was a big movement to save classic attractions like the Enchanted Tiki Room. I feel like this is the sort of thing that we need to be focused on as Disney fans in the next decade, is preserving these spots and making sure that Disney just doesn't go and turn every single square inch into just commercial space. Disneyland as a whole, it's totally just complete commercial space as it is. So why take away the charm of it and the magic of it for something that's just gonna, I don't know. It's something that I feel really strongly about, and it's the reason why I wanted to make this video in the first place. So I know this is definitely not the most professional countdown in the world. In due time, I hope to get a microphone and some better editing software and maybe a better webcam. But alas, I am totally broke, so I do not know when that stuff's going to come. But I do plan on putting this stuff out on a semi-regular basis, so look for that. In the meantime, I'm Tiki, and I'm sending you on a voyage through all the obscure and forgotten of Disney. Have a good day, everyone.